You know what separates the students who pass ACCA on the first attempt from those who keep resiting? It is not intelligence. It is not even how many hours they studied. It is whether they understand the system behind the numbers, and the purchase of raw materials is one of those systems that examiners absolutely love to test, and students absolutely love to get wrong. Right now, if I asked you to walk me through what happens from the moment a production department needs materials to the moment those materials hit the factory floor and get recorded in the books, could you do it without blanking? If there is even a second of hesitation, this video is going to save your exam. Stay with me. Welcome back to Education Bench, the channel where we do not do surface-level ACCA content. We go deep, we go exam-specific, and we go with the precision of someone who has actually sat in that exam hall and knows what the examiner is really looking for. If you are new here, smash that subscribe button right now because every single week we put out content that is mapped directly to the ACCA curriculum, no fluff, no generic theory, no boring storytelling. Just the exact knowledge architecture you need to walk into your exam and dominate. Today's video is about raw material purchasing in ACCA, and by the time this is over, you will understand it at a level that will make you genuinely dangerous in your MA, PM, AA, and FR papers. Let us get into it. Part 1. Why raw material purchasing is examined across multiple ACCA papers. Here is something most students do not realize. The purchasing of raw materials is not just one topic sitting in one paper. It bleeds across your entire ACCA journey. In management accounting, your MA or old F2 paper, you are tested on the cost classification of materials, the store's ledger card, FIFO, LIFO, AVCO, and inventory valuation. In performance management, PM or F5, you face standard costing for materials, material price variance, material usage variance, and procurement efficiency analysis. In audit and assurance, AA or F8, the entire purchase cycle is a core area for internal control testing, document trails, segregation of duties, and substantive procedures. And in financial reporting, FR or F7, IAS2 governs how inventory is measured and disclosed. So when I say mastering raw material purchasing gives you multi-paper returns on your study investment, I mean it mathematically. One deep understanding, 4 papers benefiting. This is what smart ACCA students do. They find the cross-paper leverage points and they master those first. If you are preparing for ACCA and you think raw material purchasing only matters for one paper, you are leaving marks on the table in at least 4 different exams. Here is exactly why. Part 2, the full raw material purchase cycle, step by step. Let us now walk through the complete raw material procurement cycle the way the ACCA examiner expects you to know it. And I want you to notice something as we go through this. Every single step has a document attached to it. Every document has a purpose. Every purpose has an internal control implication. That layering is exactly how exam questions are built. The process begins when the production department or the stores department identifies that raw material inventory has fallen to or below the reorder level. The reorder level is not a random number, it is a calculated threshold, and in your MA paper you need to know the formula. Reorder level equals maximum usage multiplied by maximum lead time. Once the stores reach that level, the stores department raises a purchase requisition. This is an internal document. It goes from stores to the purchasing department. It is not sent to the supplier. It authorizes the purchasing department to go ahead and source the material. In an AA exam question about controls over purchasing, the absence of a signed purchase requisition would be flagged as a control weakness. Remember that, the purchasing department now takes over. They select a supplier, ideally from an approved supplier list, which is itself a control, and they raise a purchase order. The purchase order is the external document. It goes to the supplier and it legally commits the organization to buy at agreed terms. The purchase order should reference the quantity, price, quality specifications, and delivery date. In ACCA AA, you would test whether purchase orders require appropriate authorization, for example, orders above a certain value needing a senior manager's signature. That is a key control. the supplier receives the purchase order and dispatches the goods. When those goods arrive at the factory or warehouse, the stores or goods inward department receives them and raises a goods received note, the GRN. The GRN is one of the most examined documents in ACCA. It records what actually arrived, not what was ordered. The GRN is then matched back to the purchase order to confirm the right quantity and specification was delivered. Any discrepancy between the purchase order and the GRN is a red flag and should be investigated. This matching process is a fundamental three-way match control that auditors look for: purchase order matched to GRN matched to supplier invoice. The supplier then sends the invoice. The accounts payable department receives it and performs the three-way match. If everything agrees, purchase order quantity, GRN quantity, invoice quantity, and price, then the invoice is approved for payment. If there is a mismatch, the invoice is held and a query is raised with the supplier. After authorized approval, the payment is made to the supplier, and the liability is settled. Meanwhile, at the warehouse level, the receipt of goods triggers an update to the store's ledger card, also called the bin card at a more operational level. The store's ledger card records every receipt, every issue to production, and the running balance of inventory in both quantity and value. In your MA exam, you may be asked to update a store's ledger card using FIFO, LIFO, or weighted average cost, AVCO. These are not just accounting techniques. They directly affect the closing inventory value on the balance sheet and the cost of production on the income statement. Purchase requisition. Purchase order. Goods received note. Invoice. Three-way match. Store's ledger card. This six-step chain is the entire raw material purchase cycle in ACCA, and if you cannot draw this from memory in your exam, you are gambling with your marks. Part 3, Mini Case Study Block, Real Student Scenarios. Let me now give you 3 student scenarios that I see play out constantly, and I want you to identify yourself in at least one of them, because the lesson attached to each one is worth serious exam marks. Student Scenario 1, the Detail Dropper. Ahmed is sitting his ACCA exam. The question gives him a scenario where a manufacturing company has no formal purchase order system. Managers simply call suppliers verbally and goods are received. Ahmed writes a full paragraph about the risk of fraud and unauthorized purchases, which is correct in principle. But he loses marks because he does not recommend the specific control, the introduction of a sequentially numbered purchase order system with dual authorization for orders above a set threshold. The examiner was not looking for the risk alone. The examiner wanted the specific, practical, implementable control. In ACCA, risk plus control plus test of control is the full answer structure. Ahmed gave 1/3 of it. Do not be Ahmed. Student Scenario 2, the Formula for Jetter. Priya is in her MA exam. She is given data to calculate the economic order quantity, the EOQ, for raw materials. She remembers there is a square root involved but cannot remember whether the numerator is 2 times the ordering cost times annual demand, or 2 times holding cost times demand. She guesses and loses the mark. The EOQ formula is, EOQ equals the square root of, 2 times CO times D, divided by CH, where CO is the cost per order, D is annual demand in units, and CH is the annual holding cost per unit. This formula is non-negotiable. It will appear in your exam. Write it on the back of your hand if you have to, but know it cold. Student Scenario 3, the Variance Victim. Marcus is tackling a PM standard costing question. The company purchased 5,000 kilograms of raw material at $4.20 per kilogram. The standard price was $4 per kilogram. Marcus calculates the material price variance as $1,000 adverse, which is correct. 5,000 multiplied by 20 cents equals $1,000 adverse. But the question then asks him to explain the possible causes of the variance and suggest who should be held responsible. Marcus writes, the purchasing manager bought expensive material. That is it. He gets 1 out of 4 marks. A full answer would discuss whether the variance was caused by an unexpected global price increase, in which case no one is to blame and the standard needs revision, or whether it was caused by the purchasing manager buying from a more expensive supplier without justification, in which case the purchasing manager is accountable, or whether it was because emergency purchases were needed due to poor production planning, in which case the production planning manager shares responsibility. Variance analysis in ACCA is never just the number. It is always the number plus the narrative. Always. Part 4, Inventory Management Models, Exam Depth. Now let us go deeper into the inventory management models that the ACCA examiner tests in the context of raw material purchasing. These are the areas where marks are genuinely won and lost. The economic order quantity model assumes that demand is constant and known, lead time is fixed and known, holding costs and ordering costs are known, and no stockouts are permitted. When the examiner gives you a question that says the company wants to minimize total inventory costs, that is your cue for EOQ. The total cost equation is, total cost equals ordering cost plus holding cost, which expands to, D divided by Q, multiplied by CO plus, Q divided by 2, multiplied by CH. The EOQ minimizes this total cost. But here is the examiner trap: they often give you a discount for ordering a larger quantity. You then have to compare the total cost at EOQ against the total cost at the minimum order quantity needed to qualify for the discount. If the saving from the discount exceeds the extra holding cost, you recommend the larger order. If it does not, you stick with EOQ. This is a classic two-part question structure and it appears regularly. The reorder level calculation is simpler but equally tested. Reorder level equals maximum usage multiplied by maximum lead time. This is the point at which you place your next order so that you do not run out of stock even in the worst case. Related to this is the reorder quantity, which may be the EOQ or a modified quantity, and the maximum and minimum inventory levels. Maximum inventory level equals reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum usage multiplied by minimum lead time. Minimum inventory level equals reorder level minus average usage multiplied by average lead time. These formulas need to be memorized and applied mechanically in the exam. There is no creativity here, it is pure formula application and the marks are given for correct workings.
Just-in-time purchasing (JIT) is another concept that ACCA tests, particularly in PM. JIT means that raw materials are purchased and delivered exactly when needed for production, zero buffer stock is held. The benefits include zero holding costs, reduced warehouse space, and fresher materials. The risks include vulnerability to supply chain disruption, dependency on reliable suppliers, and inability to take advantage of bulk purchase discounts. In an exam question asking you to evaluate whether a company should adopt JIT, you would weigh these factors against the company's specific context, its industry, its supplier reliability, its product type. A company making luxury cars can probably hold less inventory than a hospital pharmacy. EOQ formula. Reorder level. Maximum stock level. Minimum stock level. If you cannot write these four from memory right now, you are not ready for your ACCA exam. I am going to give you all four in the next 60 seconds. Screenshot this. Part 5. Internal controls over purchasing. ACCA AA deep dive. Now I want to specifically address the ACCA AA students watching this because the purchase cycle is one of the most tested areas in audit and assurance and the questions can be worth significant marks. Let me give you the control framework that will structure your answers every single time. The key control objectives over raw material purchasing are: ensuring that only authorized purchases are made, ensuring goods received match what was ordered, ensuring that invoices are only paid for goods actually received, ensuring that the correct amounts are recorded in the correct period, and ensuring that purchasing authority cannot be abused for personal gain. To achieve these control objectives, a well-designed purchase system will have the following controls embedded. Segregation of duties is the most fundamental. The person who initiates the purchase requisition should be different from the person who authorizes the purchase order.
Who should be different from the person who receives the goods, who should be different from the person who approves the invoice for payment. When one person controls multiple stages of this cycle, the risk of fraud escalates dramatically. In an exam question, if you see that the store's manager both raises the requisition and also approves the GRN, that is your control weakness. Flag it, explain the risk, ghost suppliers, inflated quantities, and recommend the control, sequential numbering of all documents, purchase requisitions, purchase orders, GRNs, is a control that allows the finance team to identify any missing or duplicate documents. An unnumbered document system means a fraudster can create a document after the fact to support a fraudulent payment. Sequential numbering eliminates that gap. Approved supplier lists ensure that purchases are only made from vetted, quality suppliers. Without an approved list, a purchasing manager could direct business to a personally connected supplier, a related party transaction that is not disclosed, and inflate prices or receive kickbacks. The approved supplier list should be reviewed and updated regularly by someone independent of the purchasing department. Budget authorization limits ensure that purchase orders above a certain financial threshold require escalating levels of approval. A purchasing clerk might approve orders up to $5,000. A purchasing manager up to $50,000. The CFO above that. This limits the damage any one individual can cause and ensures that large expenditures receive appropriate scrutiny. Physical controls over goods received, such as locked warehouse access, CCTV, and restricted access to the store's area, prevent unauthorized removal of inventory after it has been received. Inventory counts and reconciliation to the store's ledger card provide a further detective control. In ACCA AA, every purchase cycle control question has the same skeleton: identify the weakness, state the risk it creates, recommend the specific control. If your answers do not follow this structure, you are writing essays that the examiner cannot mark. Here is the structure in one image. Part 6, IAS 2 and Raw Material Valuation, ACCA FR Angle. For the FR students, raw material purchasing feeds directly into IAS 2, inventories. Under IAS 2, inventories must be measured at the lower of cost and net realizable value. The cost of raw materials includes the purchase price, import duties, transport costs, and any other costs directly attributable to bringing the inventory to its present location and condition. Trade discounts and rebates are deducted from cost. The cost formulas permitted under IAS 2 are FIFO, first in first out, and weighted average cost. LIFO is explicitly prohibited under IFRS. This is a favorite examiner trick. A question will describe a company using LIFO and ask you to identify the accounting issue. The answer is that LIFO is not permitted under IAS 2. Net realizable value is the estimated selling price in the ordinary course of business, less the estimated costs of completion and estimated costs of sale. When NRV falls below cost, for example, because raw materials have become obsolete or damaged, the inventory must be written down to NRV and the write-down is recognized as an expense in profit or loss immediately. It cannot be deferred. If you sat your ACCA exam tomorrow and a question came up on raw material purchasing, the purchase cycle documents, the EOQ formula, the three-way match, the IAS 2 valuation rules, the internal control framework, could you answer it fully and confidently? If the answer is not an immediate yes, you now know exactly what to do. Watch this video again, pause at each formula, write it out by hand, and test yourself on the student scenarios I gave you. That is how this knowledge moves from short-term memory into exam-ready recall. Now here is what I want you to do right now, and I am being serious about this. Drop the number one thing that confused you about raw material purchasing in ACCA in the comments below. Not just so I can see it, but because other students watching this video are dealing with the exact same confusion and your comment might be the thing that helps them. That is how this community grows. That is how Education Bench works. We learn together at a level that actually moves the needle on your exam result. If this video gave you clarity that other ACCA content has not, subscribe to Education Bench right now. Hit the bell so you never miss a video. And go watch the video I am linking right now on standard costing and variance analysis, because that is the natural next topic that builds on everything we covered today, and it is one of the highest marked topics in both your MA and PM papers. I will see you in the next one. Study smart. Pass first time. Education bench.